Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another exciting installment of Living Long Rim. Hi, Tracy. It's good to see you.
Always a pleasure to come to your class.
Yay. So today I think we're in an interesting discussion where he seems to be moving a lot faster than the rest of the chapter. And I've been thinking about, he kind of really just like blows through a lot of the information that's coming up here. I've been trying to think about like, was it one of those things that he was teaching for 24 days and he's like just kind of getting tired? Oftentimes you get to the end of class and you're like, oh shit, I got 20 minutes to cover the information, right? I know that happens a lot, but I think what's going on right now is he's giving us a description of what to expect in your meditation practice and what kinds of things are going on during those times, just as kind of an outline, which really you should memorize. I mean, really, it's one of the, you need to memorize it because when you're in meditation, when things happen, you'll be able to go, okay, where am I? Like he's just giving us the map. Here's the map and locate yourself on the map. And so there's three main things we're discussing in the end of this meditation chapter. The 9 levels of meditation. Hold on. Am I think I messed something up. Hold on. That's the power. Hold on. I messed up the numbers in my head and my brain just stopped. Hold on. The third and fourth. Okay. I need to look at something. I'm sorry. My brain just completely, look at my notes here. All right. Wow. Okay. The four modes of focus, and then is it 4 powers or 6 powers? Okay. All right. Sorry, my brain stopped. All right. So here we go. So we're learning about the 9 groups. I had to look it forward. There's 9 levels of meditation. There's 4 forces in those meditations, like kind of ways in which you apply your mind. And then there's, if I'm not misaccurately getting this, there's 6 powers. Okay. And so we're learning all the different, how do I say this? All the different things that are happening in meditation. So then, this is what I'm looking for. So you're able to then, that's right, 6 powers, 9 levels, 5 problems. Sorry, I'm just pulling this up here. 4 forces, 4 states of mind, right? Okay. So that you know what to do when you get there because different levels and different strategies get applied at different times. That's what I'm trying to say. All right. And so in that, there's 6 powers or 6 abilities, and there's kind of 4 states of mind. And I'm going to show you, this is what I was looking for. There's a chart that I made. Yay, right? And we'll send this to you and then we can get it translated. But you have 6 different powers, right? And we'll talk about those. And in those 6 powers, there's 9 levels. You can see 9 levels. there's 4 states of mind. 3, 4. And then a description of what makes for the transition from one level to the next level. All right. And the rest of this chart has the 5 problems and the 8 antidotes, which I made. I made this 10 years ago, maybe something like that. And then I memorized it, which, of course, in the moment of needing it, my brain went blank. So good luck. But if you can understand what's happening in each of these levels, then you know what to engage. Like the first level here, we reviewed this earlier. This is what we did last week. First level of meditation is actually meditating, sitting your tush down and trying to meditate. What do you meditate on? The object that your teacher gives you, whatever that is, right? And so the first power of that is just hearing meditation instructions, which many of you might just be hearing meditation instructions for the first time. And then the second level, which we're in right now, is that you're keeping your mind on the object with brief continuities. Okay. You're briefly keeping your mind on the object, which in this case, brief meant 1 mala, 108 beads of Om Mani Padme Hung is considered brief. Okay. It's about 2 minutes if you do it fast. Right. So the power that we engage at level 2 is you're just thinking about the instructions. Like you're really just thinking I'm just reviewing everything over and over again. All right. And I'm going to go through this very quickly and then we'll go through the text just so you can, if you die and don't come back to class or something. The third power is bringing your mind back to the object. All right. And this is where you're learning how to stay on the object longer. Right. Once you reach through level 4, you never can really lose the object, but you have a lot of dullness and agitation, excuse me. And so after that, you're engaging a power of the part of the mind to make sure that you're not moving off the object. It's like your sheshin is getting so strong that like any kind of agitation and dullness gets recognized so quickly that you're not going to move away from the object at all. All right. And so levels 5 and 6 are really about you don't have dullness, you don't have subtle dullness anymore. The 5th power is just a little bit extra effort. Okay. What that means is you don't have to make a lot of adjustments to kick out subtle dullness or subtle agitation. All right. It's just like a little bit of, how should I say this? Like you're driving your car and you get on the highway. Now you're doing it pretty well. And now you're like, I'm going to put on my cruise control. Right. And you have to make a little bit of effort. Like you have to push the button. You have to push the set button. In my car, you have to push the automatic drive button that will keep you in the center lane. And then also it'll adjust the speeds of the car automatically, right? You have to make the effort to turn it on. But once you make that effort, you don't need to make any more efforts. And then you're just pretty much there in meditation. And this is, and level 7 and 8 is when you're never going to lose the object or anything in subtle dullness or agitation, and then it eventually goes away. And then the power of level 6 is no effort whatsoever. You upgraded to a Tesla, and all you had to do was sit in meditation, and then it just drives you from here to there. You don't have to do anything. All right. I'll send this out so you can have this after we go through all the text. So basically, as you can see here, what you're doing in meditation in terms of corrections are different as you advance on the steps. Different problems appear at different levels. Like, I mean, if you're working in a company, the problems that the president has to deal with is different than the junior account executive has to deal with, right? the thinking is different, right? The thinking of the junior account executive is like, I need to deal with this one problem all day long, right? And you're so focused, like trying to get that one thing fixed, where like the president of the company or the executive director is like having to think of all strategy, all things going on, right? It's a bigger view. So sometimes people will, at the lower levels, criticize those at the upper levels and say, well, those people aren't doing anything. Right? Have you ever been in that situation? I have. I'm usually the one who was criticizing. Criticizing, like, you don't do anything. You don't understand my problems. It's like, yeah, but, they just make it seem effortless. It doesn't mean they're not doing anything. Deep single pointed meditation without effort does not mean no effort at all. It's just automatic. You still have to do something, right? You still have to sleep and eat and poop and all those other things too. I mean, you can stay in those deep states of meditation for a long time, but it's not really quite the point. But you see, so like as you move along, it becomes more and more effortless, but you're still there's intensity is still there, right? If the director of the company comes around and is like, are they going to be, are they always going to be effortless? No, they're going to come around and like smack you around a little bit and be like, come on, do your job. Right. And they kind of keep those things at bay, right? They keep those things aligned. They usually just don't do the job you're doing because they're doing other jobs. So anyhow, those 6 powers in the 9 levels with the 4 states of mind. We didn't review those, but we'll review those later. All of those things kind of come together. So you can then pick out, like when you sit in meditation, the moment you sit down, you should immediately be going, okay, what is the state of the union right now? Right? Half the country is upset, half the country is happy. Right? That's the state of the United States right now. Right? Half the people are happy, half the people are upset. Okay. All right. What do you do with that? Well, guess what? If the other candidate had won, half of the other, that one half would have been happy and the other half would have been upset. Same thing. Right? The solution is the same, dummy. Like, stop reading the news and plant different seeds. Because either way, the same thing is, you're still seeing the same thing. You're just feeling different about it. Okay. So you sit down in meditation, you're like, what is the state of today's union, right? What's going on in your mind? What conflicts are happening? What's working? What hurts? What doesn't hurt? Blah, 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 blah. Go through the blah, blahs, All right. That's why we do 100 breaths in the beginning. So if you can count 100 breaths and only think of those 100 breaths, you have really great meditation, right? You're already like, that's like 10 minutes. If you can sit without getting yourself ready for 10 minutes and count 100 breaths and not have any thought of whatever stupid politics are going on in your head, I like to call all my afflictions like the political landscape of my mind, right? What side is everyone on today? What negative emotion are we yelling about this time? Right? Your mind is just like reading CNN or Fox News. It's literally the same thing. Is the same thing anyway, by the way, um, until it changes, but if you can do that for 100 breaths, your meditation is amazing. Normally, I will slow down. Thank you for letting me know. Normally, in those 100 breaths, I go through the State of the Union, my president, my vice president, right? My Senate, which is run by a different party, and the House of Representatives, and the Treasury. They're all doing different things, right? Worried about money. I'm worried about my partner. I'm worried about this. I'm worried about that. This person yelled at me, right? You're trying to bring yourself to a state of neutral to actually get to the one freaking object that you're supposed to be doing. And you should just laugh at yourself when you're not able to. Just enjoy it. Okay. Right, Emily? Just enjoy. Like, just enjoy when you have a shitty meditation. It just means you have to plant different seeds, right? If you don't like the politics that are coming out of your head, you don't like then just plant different seeds and then try to meditate tomorrow. All right. Where are we? We are here. Let's have a brief review. Okay. All right. We read this last time. All right. This is the second level, right? Where basically what we're saying, okay, so first of all, look at the image. Here's your meditator, and here's all the politicians in your mind. The politics of your mind are way out in front, right? And this is what politicians try to do, is they try to get ahead of the news rather than chasing it, right? And if you can get ahead of your own mind and you're not chasing your mind, which is part of the goal of meditation, is part of the results of meditation as you're trying to get to the larger goals. Imagine if you were in front of your mind, like you got out ahead of it. Then you have the capacity to do something completely different. This is where most people get stuck, right? Most people never get beyond this point. Most people who start meditation never get beyond this, or never even get to the place where you can say they've completed level 2, right? The mind is just too powerful, but basically this is you trying to stay on the object for one round. Here it is. Trenkor Chik Sam. One round of mala repetitions. Not the short mala, Sorry, not this short one. Here's a short one. This is 21. Okay. I carry this around because I have a mantra commitment of doing 21 mantras a day. I didn't overcommit myself, right? But you have to do 5 of these plus 5 plus 3 more. Okay. To do 5 of these on the object, then you're at level 2. Right? Good job. Right? So, but imagine what it would be like. I know we're going through the translation slowly, but I really want you all to understand the value of what we're trying to do. If you can get yourself ahead of your agitation, ahead of your dullness, sure, you have a good meditation, but if you can be ahead of it when you're sitting in a business meeting, right? Or you're sitting, I don't know, in a meeting with Geshe Michael and he's telling you the 2025 calendar and you're just watching your mind and being like, dang it, I don't have as much time for ACI that I had last year with him, right? While every single other person in that meeting is trying to negotiate for their organization, right? How do you react to it, right? By the way, he put his schedule together and he is scheduled for 442 days next year. And I'm not exaggerating. So we had this meeting yesterday, and today we're supposed to come with a solution that he can get back down to 365 days. Why would you do that, Tim? Why don't you just give him 442 days? Because there aren't 442 days in a year. That would be an 12, that'd be a 14, almost 15-month calendar. Right? We only had 12 months in a day, right? 12 months in a year. You see. So I'm sitting in this meeting being like, what are you really asking me to do? Right? Right? And basically I think he's showing me that the way that we're trying to utilize the teacher is wrong. He's like, you're trying to get me to do something that's impossible. Versus understanding the seeds. Like, I was just sitting there and there's all the directors are there and we're all kind of looking at each other like, who's going to compromise first, right? Like everyone's around because he's like, I don't know, 70 extra days figured out, right? And I was like, that's not what today's point. The point of today's lesson is not that. Right? Get ahead of your negative emotions. Because what I wanted to feel was, now that notice yourself. Now there's a complete point to all this. Notice I said what I want to feel. Right? What I wanted to feel was, oh, no one cares about ACI. We're the nonprofit organization. All of our teachings then get turned into for-profit companies and everyone else makes money while ACI doesn't have enough money. I feel so lonely. No one really cares about the classics. They only care about making money in this life, which is samsaric anyway, and they're going to lose it. But I have to worry about that now because I'm in that life. Right? These are all the things I wanted to feel. Right? But Did I feel them? Right. And I think that's the thing is like, you can watch the emotions start to arise while you're sitting in a meeting with people and being like, you, and of course, my seeds to see people who are like, I need all those days. You have to compromise. You have to compromise. I can't. And it really wasn't that bad, but I'm just being dramatic for teaching purposes, you know. But it's really like, can you get yourself ahead of the emotion? Because if I started actually feeling all of those things, then my arms cross, then my body goes, and then I don't listen, right? And then I'm planting very different seeds versus having the thought in the middle of this long meeting. It took 2 hours of Geshe Michael going over everything to then get to the punchline, which says there are 70 extra days here that are impossible. This is what you all are asking me what to do. You figure it out, right? And I was like, why did he spend 2 hours telling us we have all this time with him to then say we don't? It's your meditation, right? I was like, okay, what is being taught here? Like, how do we create more time? Or how are we not planting seeds, but rather trying to utilize the self existent teacher's time to create content for us to have in this world? I don't know. But I think the main point is get yourself to a place where then you don't get upset in those kinds of meetings because your organization has to compromise and you're not going to have as much time with the teacher that attracts all the people to the classes, the teacher that helps you pay your bills, the teacher that, you know, created all the content in the first place or translated it, right? Oh, we have less time now. Well, what does that mean? Maybe that means we all have to become teachers. We all have to become good meditators. We all have to see emptiness directly so then we can, you know, we can be the next generation of leaders. That's what I think is being said. He's like, you guys do it. He's like, you know, it's your turn, right? So get ahead of it all. That's the main point. Let's move on. I think there were at least 3 or 4 Instagram reels in that little side trip I just took. Because Instagram is how you get students and how you get donations. All right. Here we are. 190. Marina, you're first on the list. Go.
Dicet capren nam toxischen caprenam tokie. I don't know. Here it's where or where. But
Where?
okay. Where? Okay.
Hey.
Nam tok not
Right.
tokengel.
Mm-hmm.
Sovenian on
Mm-hmm.
di sampe toki trup.
Good job. Nice. It's funny that the easiest word you stumbled on, Ray. That's funny, right? You're like, there has to be a trick here. No, there's no Ray there. There's no trick there. Okay. So here we are at this level, meaning level 2, at this time, right? At this place that we've arrived. Yeah. So the actual expression cabre it's one word, which means like at times, or in this case, right? Or once or something like that. Okay. So what this means is at this time of this level of level 2, right? We have a she, we have peace, right? And we also have times that are peaceful, but times when those random thoughts come back up, namtok. All right. So in these it's almost like between, like, you have this feeling of the random thoughts are still powerful. The random thoughts that just jump in your mind when you're like, dinner. Hold on a second. Nope, don't go outside. Sorry, a friend of mine is staying here and walked out, and the cat was trying to go outside. They're not ready for the outside yet. See, random thought. My cat was the random thought, right? I wasn't focused enough. Cat goes out, right? Or was that Sheshan being aware of what else is going on that could be a problem? Your life gets really weird when you start comparing everything to meditation practice. And maybe there's something useful in there. So your random thoughts, namtoks, arise, right? And sometimes you have peaceful moments, right, from them, right? But they kind of like, they go back and forth. So they're still very powerful. So you will think about bananas, right? Or whatever your flavor of random thoughts will come up. All right. And now we're going to talk about the power. So you achieve, Drup, the power of sampa, right? Which means, or sampa, which is mainly the idea of contemplating the instructions that we've already received. You see. So when you're like flipping back and forth between the object a bit and then your random thoughts of bananas show up, right? You're just like, okay, I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to remember I'm on the object. I'm supposed to, oh, what was I supposed to do? Oh, okay. This is dullness, or is it, you're just like, all the information is like vomiting in your head. Okay. I actually think this is a lam rim about becoming a teacher. Maybe this will be part of the teacher training. When you first become a teacher, like everything that comes to your mind, you feel like you have to say, right? Or that you're teaching something and you have to teach everything because you want everyone to learn everything right now, which is not the case, right? A calculus teacher is not going to teach differential equations to a first grader, right? The kid's going to look at you and be like, when are we going to have recess? Right? When are we going outside? They can't get it. So, and this will be a thing that happens when you're a teacher too. Your mind will just go all over the place. And then that slows down too. All right. Next one, 191. Who's next? Persis, you're next.
Thank you. Xem ni thẳng phổ thống ni bà đi ni là yến cột mong xỉn ni bà dũng dũng thấy yến trẻ xỉ yến thẳng
Nung way.
nung way yến trẻ xỉ yến thẳng bố dream Thẹn trục thấy kẹp yến xin ná
Nay.
bà nay bà lệ yên và dũng 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 ring
Yun ring.
dũng ring và yến sục
Sung. Nice. Good job. Okay, so so at these two levels, okay, Semne, the Dangpo, the first level 1 and level 2, right? So at these two levels, referring to level 1 and level 2, at these two first, okay, this is why Tibetan is difficult sometimes. The first two levels, Dangpo and Nipa, those two, these two together, right? The thing that is most predominant or biggest is Jingwan Gupa, dullness, agitation, Mung. They are the biggest. Like there's many of those. There's many of those things. All right. They're predominant. And staying on the object, Nepa, Nungwa are fewer. Okay. So at this level, your dullness and agitation is big, and you staying on the object is weak. Basically, you don't stay on it very long. Sorry, I have to get my power cord. Be right back. All right. Okay, sorry about that. It's kind of like this class. I'm actually off this class more than I'm on this class. Get it? Okay. All right. First levels of meditation, 1 and 2. By the way, for all of you teachers out there, those are the things that teach people more than teaching people directly. All right. So if I point out to you that I'm more off the object, the class, and I'm more on other distractions, and you're like, God, why is Tim paying attention to his cat? Why didn't he have his battery thing? Well, he couldn't find the plug. Well, whatever the hell's going on, right? The students remember that more than the actual instruction. So, like, I tend to remember instructions that I received through those other side things that happened, right? And so you won't ever forget level 1 and level 2 what they mean. Yeah, then that stupid Tim wasn't even paying attention to class. Right? Maybe sometimes it's on purpose, sometimes it just works out that way. There's seeds anyhow. All right, so Tracy, what does this mean right here? After we just said agitation and dullness are many, and then staying on the object is few. What does this mean at the end of wa?
With a suffix?
It's exactly, you gave a correct answer. What does that indicate for us in the Tibetan?
Many?
No, it's kind of an indicator of everything before it is the subject of the sentence. It can sometimes mean therefore or for the purpose of, right? But this oftentimes, and you have to get used to recognizing not all sas mean are instrumentals, or not all instrumentals are agentive. But in this case, this indicates everything before this is the subject. All right. And actually, even this becomes a subject too, like set off by the Ladun particle. All right. So when you're working to understand the language and what's the word I'm looking for, to translate it, if you understand how the grammar goes together, then you know what to look for. All right. So everything before this sa, blah, 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 there's two, the first and second part or levels of meditation, those two together, Jingwa and Gupa, are many, and the object staying on is few. Therefore, right? Or as the subject, now we need to go look for the next verb. So then we know what the hell that subject is referring to. And the next verb is offset here, give it te, which is a terminating particle. Right? But now we look for the next verb. Trim. This is for all of you translators out there. Let's do that. Okay. And what this means generally is we put our intention, or we're focused upon what we need to be doing in this moment. The first dangpo of the four yiches, states of mind. So remember, I said there were 9 levels, 6 powers, and 4 states of mind, yiches, right? So what we need to do is we need to focus on, while we're doing levels 1 and 2 of meditation, the 4 modes of focus, the states of mind, yiches, we're going to be focusing on the first one. Okay. Memorize the list. That's all I can tell you right now. And what the first one is called forcefully concentrating the mind. You're literally going, bam, bring it back. Let's go. You're bringing the child who's having a tantrum at Walmart, and you're putting them back in the car. You're like, nope, over here. You're like, here, do you want a cookie? Just shut up, right? All those things you have to do with a misbehaving child, right? Sometimes you just pick them up by their shirt and be like, we're going. You can go kicking and screaming, but I got you, right? Or you offer them a chocolate or, whatever. But you have to do it with a little bit of a lot of effort, right? Forcefully bringing back the mind. Okay. And then he summarizes here by saying, Sung, our Lama, meaning Pabonka Rinpoche, said that the time that we spend in distraction is longer than the time on the object, period. Right? So if you like to think of that mind of yours as a child having a tantrum, I give you all these examples so one of them will be relevant to you. Let's move on to number 3. Since you're at the front of the list, Tracy, and haven't read yet, how about let's read number 3.
Thank you. Sumpani gu ta hui shila len pa gyakpa shin gyun tu pe shi de hengne tem mikpale gyengpa trau tu she ne lar mikten la lenten juk pa la serwe.
Nice, good job. Notice that this section ends in the instrumental. All right. It's a little bit weird to end a paragraph there, but it's a great place to understand that there is more to come, right? It's telling you, oh, there's a lot more, but we need to understand everything before it. Okay. So now we're on level 3. All right. Now, look at the picture first. What's the first thing you notice between the two? Here's level 2. And here's level 3. Let's go back to level 1. Okay, first of all, in level 1, yes, we've caught up to the mind, right? Level 1 is that monkey and the elephant are running, right? And you're like, wait up for me. Okay. The next one is the elephant and the monkey are walking, and notice their heads are a little bit white. There's a bit of pacification, but you're still running after them, right? They're walking now, but you can't catch up to them. It's like a nightmare, right? You're trying to run really fast, but you can't get close. And then the third one, now they're close, you're closer to them. And they're kind of like, now they kind of notice you. And there's a little rabbit as well on top, right? And they got white heads. We'll talk about that in just a second. All right. So first thing, okay, so we're at the third level, sumpani, right? This level is like putting patches onto some old clothes. Gupa is clothing. Okay. So it's like they call it patches, patchwork, right? And so the idea here is we have not a long time on the object, but when we do move away from the object, right, we get distracted by whatever distraction of the day is. That we're able to notice it quickly and bring the mind back. And it's actually, I think, I believe, I'm going to look up this word again because I forget. It's like you drag the mind back. Like you're taking the mind and bringing it back to the object. So like if you look at this here, see what's like, there's like a little rope and just kind of like throwing the rope out. It's not really, you're not, it's like a cowboy, right? Like if you're trying to capture you're doing, a roundup of the herd or something, or like you have one like baby cow, a calf, like you're throwing the rope, right? And you get it around its neck and you start pulling it back. But so you're basically, you notice quickly, you're like, nope, we're going here. And you pull it back. And this is what's called patching the meditation. All right. Mikten len. Mikten la len. So you're patching. The word len here means meditation. Or excuse me, patching. You're patching it back together, right? Your genes have holes in them. But in this case, you're on the object more than you're off the object. And so you're patching the holes that show up in your meditation pants. All right, 193. You're translating. You did it already. How about Sharon? Are you translating? Okay, you're translating. All right. How about Natalia? 193. You got a short one today.
Діден, Нама, Ніле, Yenwa Yunrin Chunyot Jiang Dranpa Topden Kiepa Duyin Sun.
Okay. So here's what's going on here. A difference from the previous level. Namanila. What's from the previous level? What's the difference between 2 and 3? Right? Is the time Jungring is shorter, tung, of the distraction. So the distraction is less. How much time do we spend on distractions? And that's the main point of all of these things, is how long are you on the object and how long are you off the object? So in the first 4 levels, we're measuring the capacity of our meditation based on time. How long do you stay on and how long do you stay off? So then at this level, our Lama said, Sung, right? That we have more strength to build up the, how do I say this? The time that you're in it is that you have Tobden K. You are building up more strength to Drenpa, to bring yourself back to the object. All right. So in this case, what you're doing at level 3 is you're developing and honing the skill of bringing yourself back to the intended object. So if you want to think of meditation levels 1, 2, and 3, you're really just building a skill set. Can you focus? Can you sit in class for an hour, right, without thinking of bananas, right? Can you do those things? And so this is personal advice from Tim, is when you're in your meditation, take these ideas with you and say, all right, I'm going to meditate today. And what I'm going to focus on is how my focus is. And it changes the quality of your meditation entirely. Oh, shush. She didn't like that. So if you can use that as the object, it's kind of a weird shift. So your object, let's say you're doing the teacher golden rule meditation where you're looking at your teacher, right? That's your intended object. But it's almost like the thing that you're doing with that object is noticing how your mind is behaving with the object. And it changes the flavor of what you're doing. Then you don't worry so much about whether you're on the object or not. You're focusing more on the state of mind that is looking at the teacher in the golden room. Right? So if we look at this, where did this go? Where did my document go? I can't find it. That's not fair. All right. Hold on. Let's try this again. Because I closed it. That was not smart. Okay. So if we look at this, right? This state of mind, if you're focusing on, this is what your mind is doing. Literally, this is what your mind, what is happening in your mind while you're doing all the other things. So if you are aware of what that mind is doing, it'll help you get more interested in staying on the object longer, because your mind doesn't want to stay in a single object because it's not interesting enough. Even the most, if you've ever fallen in love, right, and you have that honeymoon period where you're just, everything is awesome, and then you have your first fight, or you're just like, after a while, you're just kind of like, all right, you're not as interesting as you were 3 weeks ago. Right? I was so in love 3 weeks ago, but now I'm just kind of like, you're not that interesting anymore. Right? And that's just what happens with any meditation object. It just, there's nothing different about it. You lose interest in it. What this gives you is, it gives you something to be interested in while you're getting bored with your meditation object. Even if you're totally devoted to your teacher and you see them in a certain way, if you're able to maintain that over periods of time, like years, great. But in my experience, I need something else to look at, pay attention to. So I pay attention to the effort. Right. And so once you get into the third level of meditation, where you're keeping your mind on the object with patches off of it, the power to do this, the state of mind that does this, is a little bit different. And that's what this is saying, is that there's interruptions. You kind of, it's someone like tapping on your shoulder. It's like, hey. The first two are just like brute force. I'm gonna bench press you, right? The second one is like, you got the bench press going, but then you're like, your arm starts shaking a little bit, but you have to like be, hey, a little bit less weight. You're getting better at it. You're stronger, first of all. But like if you've ever been done weightlifting, if it's too much, like, you get tired too quickly, or you're not able to actually do it. This gives you the capacity here. The practice gives you the capacity to do it. All right. All right. Let's go to level 4. Yay. Mike, want to read level 4?
I would love to. Thank you. Shipani Drempa Shuk Chen Du Kene Mikten Lanjok Pa Te. Dine Mikten Shormi Sipe Ngama Sumle Ke Shupayin Monkyang Mikten Ma Shur Shin Du Jingge Shuk Chenpon Jungwe Jingge Ki Nyempo Tsenge.
Nice. All right. I'm going to go through this quickly because we have 1 minute. And then when we start class next week, I'm going to bring up what's going on in these pictures on level 3 and level 4. Shipani, we've arrived at the level 4 now. Now you can all kind of see that these 3, rabbit, elephant, and monkey, they're all looking back. The lasso is much stronger, and the darkness in those 3 is leaving. All right, so just keep that in mind. Now, what's cool as of this, so first of all, the strength of your ability to hold the object is building. All right. And then your ability to stay on that object. We're able to maintain our mind on that object. All right. And what makes this different, okay, from the 3 previous levels, Nama Sungle, all right, what makes this, the features, okay, the feature of this, like the marked difference, right, from the previous first levels is Mikten Shormisi, all right? that it's impossible. You don't lose the object at all, completely. How about that? Once you get to level 4, you have that lasso wrapped around the object and it doesn't go anywhere, which is really cool. But, Onkyang, but even though you can't lose that object anymore, Mikten Mashur's Shindu, Jingwa and Gupa are very strong, Shukchenpo. The strength of them are still arising with power. All right. They're Jungweiing with strength. And so you need to rely upon Tenga, those antidotes, Nenpo of Jingwa and Gupa. So what happens here at level 4 is that you finally get a hold of the object and it never can go away. You never lose the object entirely. Your agitation and dullness are still there, right? But you're able to navigate them and still hold the object in some capacity. All right. So getting from level 0 to 4 is a huge feat. It's incredibly, that's our biggest challenge, is getting there. Once we get there, then the biggest challenge becomes subtle dullness, right? And then after that, once you attack subtle dullness, then other problems arise later. And we'll talk about that in the next couple classes, right? But just getting to that place where you are on the object and then you're just playing with subtle or you're just playing with dullness and agitation at that point. Then you've actually really achieved a lot, and then it gets wildly more difficult. It's interesting. Like, oh, I'm on the object, and you think it's easy. Now it becomes a total different game. So the states of mind that you engage through levels 5 through 9 is different. The way you're engaging in your meditation is different. But you have to get there first. Yay. All right, cool. We will see you next week. Hold on, I want to answer this one question. We'll see you next week here. And I'm still hoping to get through this whole chapter. So then we can start with emptiness in 2025. Hold on a second here. I want to look up something. We'll talk about, hold on. We'll talk about this next. There's too much information here. I'm just going to pause there. Let's just pause there. Okay. Thank you all very much. And then next week, I'm hoping to get through most of those other levels. And then I'm really excited to get to the emptiness chapter, which is what you put in as your meditation object when you get good at it. All right. I hope you all have a good day. Thank you all very much. Thank you, translators. Thank you for telling me when I speak too fast. Thank you, tech team. Thank you, everybody. And say goodbye to each other. Happy Wednesday.
Bye. We love you.
Oh, thank you. I love you too.
Thank you.
Thank you, teacher. Please stay.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks. Have a great day.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank you, team.
Bye.